Hello everyone, welcome back for this week's episode of the Pavilion Perspective. I'm your host Anirudh and I'm back after surviving 6 exams in 3 days thanks to the bizarre schedule prepared by my university. So by my side I have Kanav and Pragun. How are you guys? How was your weekend?
It was fine. I guess we witnessed a great cricketing action,
Yeah,
which we will talk about later in the episode. So,
Pragun?
My weekend was great. I think the bigger match was played on Sunday morning. I was playing a cricket game after a very long time. That
Okay,
was the biggest match of the weekend.
understandable. But there's a really important series going on in England. I'm talking about Ashes and it's getting really hot out there because of all that drama related to spirit of the cricket and all that. So how do you see it?
In my point of view, you can't be out of spirit. You can't be breaking the spirit of cricket if you are within the laws. So the same guys who wrote the laws were sitting in the long room and chatting shit to the Aussie players when they went back to the dressing room. I don't get it. Why were they doing that?
yeah, yeah, because we have seen over the years how England, how you can see how their luck has been fared because over the years they have been repeatedly part of this. Let's take it back to Ashwin man-killing Butler. Then we have the 2019 World Cup final game where you have to decide a winner from a boundary count. And I don't know why people criticized it because it was a it was a rule years back ago. Like there has been games decided on the basis of it. Like for example, there was one game in which KKR was part of it in the IPL, and I guess
Take
it
and
was between
Rajasthan.
KKR and
Yeah,
Rajasthan, and
Rajasthan
it was
only.
decided on the
Yeah,
boundary count. So then people
yes.
didn't
Yeah.
said anything. So I can understand your frustration of Brendan McCullum. Like there was a really good chance of England winning on that day if Bairstow would have stayed with uh, Ben Stokes because we have all seen how he batted after he got out. But you can't really blame the loss which you only made, and then you can't criticize the players of being part of it because it is just in the laws. Like as Pat Cummins said, it was just a fair play.
And if you noticed it, after the match, Ben Stokes said that I understand it's an important match, but I don't want to win a match if that run out, that spirit of the game is hampered. So let me ask him. Of course, he's not listening to this, but let me ask this question: that if you remember 2019 World Cup final, there was a player who was running and the ball like hit his bat and it went for a boundary. Don't you think that batsman should have asked that? No, 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 I don't want runs. It's against the spirit of the game. Was that batsman Ben
Or
Stokes?
Yeah. Or the captain should have asked that we should share the trophy. I mean, there can be two winners. We had two winners previously, England and Sri Lanka in Champions Trophy 2003. So, I mean, that's also the spirit of the game, I guess.
Yeah. Pragun, do you have something to say about it?
Uh, I don't have anything to say about the spirit of cricket because I don't think it was anywhere in the question. The
Yeah.
game was won by the team which played within the rules. And I believe if England think that they lost because of the Bairstow run out, then they can't win any other game because
True.
they they got the best conditions in this game. Let's be fair. When
Let's
they
be
won the
fair.
toss, there was overcast condition, top. Australia went into bat and they played out the first session brilliantly.
Yeah,
They couldn't restrict them after having all the conditions in their favor. Then they were 188 for a wicket down, and then
yeah, yeah.
they had a brain fade moment where where they could not play their short ball sensibly. And even after knowing that Nathan Lyon wasn't going to bowl, so they had to tire out the fast bowlers, and then the game was theirs.
Yeah.
They did not do that, and they did the same mistake again when they came on to bat. They did not
Uh,
have the right mindset that they should have had, that we have to tire out the Australian fast bowlers. Even if they did not win the game, if they had tired out the Australian fast bowler, it would have helped them in the last three matches. Because
yeah.
if you remember the Gaba test match, it was not only one because on the what we played on Gaba. It was one because we tired them out in Sydney. Ashwin and Bihari tired them out in Sydney, and they did not have a backup bowler for the Gaba test match.
They give two wickets to Travis Head. You can't really blame you can't you can't really blame only that run out because you give two wickets to Travis Head, their part-time bowler. You have the best, like you said, you have the best conditions. Like you are going with a certain approach. Okay, we all understand you're going with a certain approach, and you made the pitch like this. Like I have never seen in England the 300 scores are made repeatedly, and the team batting force has a fair chance of winning it. Like in the WTC final, India still had their fair chance of winning it. And I believe if they have batted the way like England did on the last day yesterday, so they could have won. Who knows? The Australia bowlers might have started to give up like they almost did in the Stokes case. Like they were just bowling him short and he was just smashing them all over the ground.
Do you think that because of this pressure consistently made by the media, the narrative around baseball has changed? Like, if you remember when baseball came into the picture last year, it was about playing positive cricket, playing aggressive cricket, and going for the win. But right now, it has become just a way of entertaining people that we'll hit a six of the very first ball of the day. We'll hit this guy Pat Cummins for a reverse sweep. They want to play 7 runs and over. So, do you think that perspective has changed because of that pressure consistently made by the media that they're playing for 5 runs and over, 6 runs and over, but they were not playing for 5 runs and over. They were playing aggressive cricket.
Thing with baseball is when it came around last year, they played in Pakistan. There you could entertain as well as
Yeah,
well as score 7 runs per an over, and this would have been a safe cricket. Not you didn't have to take much risk because the pitches
mm,
were flat.
yeah,
But now in England, although these pitches are still flatter than the previous England wickets that they used to produce, but still you
Yeah.
can't play like that. You
but
can't
they
play
Yeah.
short
scored
balls
runs in
like
New
that.
Zealand,
You
right?
have to tire out the bowlers.
But they scored
Yeah,
runs in New Zealand.
Yeah. I mean, see, you have to respect the bowler if he's bowling good. Like you can't just bash it out. It's not a T20 cricket, like or it's there is not a white ball. You have the Duke's ball in the overcast conditions with the best bowlers of the world at the moment. You have Mr. Stark who can bowl you out anytime he wants. Like I was watching the match and I had this in mind why they can't bowl a Yorker to Ben Stokes. Like he has that pace. I can understand they are tired fielding for like 3 4 days. We have seen that the Ashes first test also had 5 days of cricket, and this match also had 5 days of cricket. But yeah, you can't just really like Okay, we understand you want to play with a certain approach, but we can't just disrespect the bowler who is bowling. We
Well,
have to respect the good balls.
before moving forward to our next topic, I just have a small observation which I wanted to share long time back. Since World Test Championship final, Mitchell Stark is wearing a ring in his third finger of the bowling arm. I don't know what's the use of that ring, but don't you think that should spark debates regarding the ball tampering? I mean, it's a
I
gray
don't
area.
think
I
so.
don't know what to say, but I'm really shocked
Yes, it is a
no one
gray
is
area,
saying
but
that.
I mean, there was a match. I guess Sri Lanka was been part of it, and I don't remember the name of the bowler, but he was fined because what happened is he was chewing gum, he was like chewing a gum, and that gum actually got like the saliva got into the ball, and he was fined. So I mean,
Okay, I don't remember the
you
match,
can
but I
understand.
think it's interesting.
Yeah,
that
yeah, I don't
the thing
remember the
with
match,
that
but I remember this.
situation is the thing with the situation is I get it if it was an Indian bowler or a South African bowler or a Sri Lankan bowler, ICC would have penalized.
Yeah, I
That is
agree.
for sure with
I
the ring
agree.
situation. But if it is an Australian or a English bowler or a white South African bowler, they wouldn't
I mean,
penalize.
MS Dhoni wasn't even spared.
Things getting dark over here.
MS Dhoni wasn't even spared. So
Huh?
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, let's move forward. As we all know that West Indies have been knocked out of the tournament. They won't be playing the ODI World Cup for the first time in their history. I mean, not any World Cup. So how do you see it?
I
Go
mean,
ahead. Okay, Kanav.
yeah, I mean, someone believed in Darren Sammy's mentality, and it has been broken just after one episode.
And he also
And
believed that Usman
Darren
Khwaja
Sammy
has a
failed
bad
India.
record in England.
I mean, I
That
am
I
just
still stand
lucky.
by it.
I'm I'm just lucky that my predictions are going right. But anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, West Indies weren't even part of the T20 World Cup last year. So I guess downfall is pretty. I mean, for if you see for the sports perspective, the downfall can discourage like small teams because like we all know how West Indies have been since the beginning of the cricket. They had their great fast bowlers and in the later stages they had a great batsmen. Like if you see in 2016, they have a great batting lineup. Plus they had great bowling options. Like they have a complete team, which even if they didn't perform well in the ODI World Cup, ODI World Cups or in the ODI cricket, they still had principle over the T20 cricket. And we all believe that if West Indies is playing the World Cup, every team should be aware of it. But I don't know what happened, and there's a sudden downfall from 2060, either in the management. I guess there is problem in the management like we have at the moment.
I
So,
think we all know that missing out West Indies in the World Cup will sort of hurt their revenue generation. And we all want West Indies to play because they have that ability to beat a side like Australia on any day. But if you see, like I read a post and it had a very interesting fact. Since 1997, West Indies have not even qualified for the top six of any ODI World Cup. Like in 2003, you had Super Six, right? And barring that, you had top four, like semi-final and final. So that team has been on a downfall since more than 20 years. Barring that T20 World Cup victory, they haven't been very prominent in any tournament. So, and if you see in 2003, Kenya qualified for semi-final, if I'm not wrong, it was Kenya, right? So other
Yeah, they
teams
did.
have got
They did.
that thing, but they need to play consistent cricket. And I think Pragun will have a good point over here.
So first of all, I believe Darren Sammy did not fail the West Indies team. He failed
uh,
me.
yeah,
I believed in him, yeah. And
uh,
secondly, what I want to say about the West Indies team is they have players who are playing IPL, and that is fine. I know that some of the people around West Indies cricket feel that because of the IPL they are losing. I don't think so. That is the only problem. There are problems, like for example, the biggest problem is if you have a player in the IPL who is not even part of the playing 11 or who is not even in the contention of the playing 11. That is a problem. For example,
Maybe
I
another.
believe his name is Johnson Charles or he is Johnson Charles. He was with Kolkata
Johnson
Knight
Charles.
Riders when Liton Das got ruled out or
Okay.
Jason Roy got ruled out, and he did not play a single game,
Hmm.
but he was still there. I believe Akil Hussain was in the IPL. I believe he played
Yeah, yeah,
one
he
game or
was.
he also did not play a game. That
Yeah,
is the bigger problem. If you have a quality bunch of players and they will go to IPL, they will also play. But because you lack the quality, they are going to the IPL, but they are not playing. So it is only harming them. A guy like
Good point.
Nicholas Puran was playing in the IPL, and it showed. He performed well.
Yeah.
It was IPL did not harm him, but then he can't win you the match alone.
Yeah.
Jason Holder played the IPL, but he played the IPL in, I believe, he did not play regularly for Rajasthan
And he
Royals,
was not in a good form
but
as well.
he was in and
yeah,
out, and it showed in the last over.
Yeah.
If you look at the Netherlands game, he bowled 10 overs, and he was, if you watch the highlights, it would show that Jason Holder had the best control out of the West Indian bowlers. He had the most control over his line and length, and but he was given the fine super over. And I believe after you get smashed for 1 or 2 balls in super over, I don't think anyone can lose their shit.
True. Okay. So except West Indies, every team has played good cricket in the World Cup qualifiers. And if you see, Netherlands was playing Sri Lanka the other day, and they had Sri Lanka in trouble, if I'm not wrong. And if
yeah, they have.
Netherlands were able to score
Yeah,
those 20 runs, which I think that last partnership between Dhananjay De Silva and some other player, so I think there those 20 runs mattered. And if Netherlands would have beaten Sri Lanka that day, I think Netherlands would have a fair chance of qualifying for the main event. And at the moment, we have a Scotland versus Zimbabwe game. I think it's tomorrow. And if Scotland beats Zimbabwe, we might have a situation where Zimbabwe won't qualify, but Scotland might end up qualifying for the final. So it's like I think
yeah.
uh, I won't be wrong to say this, but better than main event, we have the qualifiers. The qualifiers are better than main event because there's a lot at stake over there.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you saw the last qualifier, like you have Afghanistan and West Indies qualifying, and then we know what happened in the main event. They were
Yeah,
lying at the bottom of the table. So I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, there is a saying that yes, the qualifiers are better than the World Cups, and I guess there is. I believe you are right because you see, like we have West Indies who is playing bad cricket. We have Zimbabwe who is we like I was talking to you another day and how we were just saying that only Sikandar Raza plays for them, but this time around they have Sean Williams scoring for
yeah,
them. They
Raheel
have
Irvine and Sean Williams.
yeah, they have the batting clicking for them, and the team like Netherlands who are scoring 360 odd runs in 48 overs. So, yeah,
okay. That's a good point of view.
What
But
uh, what I
let's
want to
move to
say,
okay, yeah,
just one thing, that it is sad that West Indies, who are out of the qualifiers, will have a full tour against India, whereas teams who have beaten them, they do not. We don't know what they are going to do. It's not like Netherlands is going to play Australia or
yeah.
England or Sri Lanka again. They are not
I
even
mean,
playing
Yeah.
the small
Afghanistan. That
sides
is really
can at
sad.
least play teams like this Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and even West Indies. They can play these teams consistently because we know how poorly they're ranked in the points table, rankings table. So at least they can play them. But I don't know this ICC's overall structure of world cricket. It sort of limits the international cricket, the cream at the top. It limits it to 9 to 10 teams only. So I think that's where it needs to look. And I think the World Cup is an epitome of that. It has only 10 teams. Even
Mm.
from the next time, you'll have 14, but 14 is a small number. Again, you need
Small
16 to
number.
18 teams. Like your T20 World Cup will have 20 teams. So that is a good move. But I think ODI World Cup could have been expanded.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can take inspiration from Afghanistan, how they have emerged, ahead of West Indies and even Sri Lanka. They at some good day they can even beat India or Australia.
Yeah.
So small teams can take inspiration and can perform consistently. Like there is a problem with these small teams. Like they don't perform consistently. Like they can beat Australia. Like we can say one day. For example, Zimbabwe beat Australia in their home ground, and even Scotland beat England in their home ground some years back ago. But they then lose to small teams which are at their level. So everyone can take inspiration from Afghanistan and can up their game consistently,
True.
so they can get a stake at the main event.
But I think a lot of credit goes to players like Rashid Khan, Mohammad Ambi, and all those players because
Yeah,
they played in big leagues, they played big matches, and what's more important is that they learned from there and they imparted their knowledge into their team. And that sort of helped in the building of their team. If you see players like Joshua Little, I mean, I'm not blaming him. It was his first IPL, but if these players consistently play in the IPL, they will learn. If you see Sikandar Raza played in IPL, so consistently associate players need to play in the IPL and other leagues.
and I believe Zimbabwe is not that small team. I mean, like in 1990s, they were the one of the main teams who can beat.
True.
Like they were at some point they were above India. Like India don't have that team at that point. We all know that we have a player like Andy Flower who batted so well on those days. So I still not believe Zimbabwe is that small team, but yeah, they have somehow have their own downfall like West Indies.
Okay, so in the past week, like we'll end this World Cup qualifier and all those associate nations team talks. Let's move to Indian cricket. In the past week, we have got two major developments. First is that the schedule for the World Cup was announced, and second, Agarkar is supposed to be the front runner to get the Indian selectors role. So first of all, we'll talk about the World Cup schedule. So Pragun, how do you think the World Cup schedule will benefit India? They will play New Zealand in Dharamshala, they'll play England in Lucknow and Australia in Chennai.
To be honest, I have actually studied the schedule this time, and I know my thing that we have 9 games, and I see India winning at least 7 games,
Okay.
including against Pakistan.
Yeah.
The game against Australia, I believe we would win. But the thing is, we are banking on that it is a Chennai pitch, and we have the spinners to get them out. But I don't think we are focusing much on that. Do we have the batters to play their spin? I think there is a gap to be filled there. I believe that this is a out of box thinking, but we still don't have a proper number 4 or number 5. I believe that KL Rahul would be number 5, and that is I believe that is good for the team provided he is fit. Yeah, but with number 4, I think that we should look at someone like Akshar Patel at number 4. He
Okay.
can play spin well,
Yeah, he
and
is
he
a good
has a
option.
and the thing is, what helps him is that he has a good height,
Yeah.
so he can reach to the pitch of the balls. And you
Yeah,
have a lefty batter in your top 4, which we don't currently have. If we go to Shreyas Iyer and number 5 at KL Rahul, then we have top 5 batters of who are
Right.
right-handed,
Yeah.
and maybe at 6 we can have Jadeja. So this
Where
could
does
be done,
Hardik Pandya
and
go?
it gives you an Hardik Pandya either at 6 or either at 7,
Okay.
depending upon the match situation.
Okay.
And the two games I think that India would face trouble is once, like you mentioned, that against New Zealand at Dharamshala,
Yeah.
which is known to be a swing friendly wicket. So if like we know that Trent Bolt is not a
Given up.
contract player
Yeah.
anymore from the New Zealand cricket, but I believe that he will for the World Cup, and New Zealand will have him without any questions asked. And if Williamson is fit, then they have a good batting lineup. And even if he is not fit, I believe someone like Tom Latham is very underrated from the New Zealand team.
True.
He can win matches
true.
on his own, and at least against India, yes.
Yeah.
And the second game is against England. we are playing at the best venue for us out of the 10 venues. If India has the best chance, they have it at the Ekana
No.
Stadium at Lucknow. But the quality of England side is so great that it wouldn't be an easy match. I would still have at this moment, I would still have England as the favorites, even at that stadium, even if it is the same pitch that, even if it is the similar pitch that was used in IPL. I still think that England can go through because they also have great spin bowlers. You can't play. I don't think that we have the quality of the quality batting lineup that can play out Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali, and even Liam Livingston as a part-time bowler. So there
I
is
think it's
something that we
sort
should
of
look at.
bizarre. It's sort of bizarre. It's sort of funny,
Irony.
sort of crazy to say that
Yeah.
Indian batters, they struggle against swing,
They
they
can't.
struggle against spin. They only know how to play on highways, I think.
I mean, like you can't. I mean, how you can struggle against spin on a spin friendly pitch? I can't
We've been
understand. Like
saying
you,
that for years,
like
right? Whenever these
yeah. I
teams
mean,
like Australia and England come, whenever they have a good spinner, suppose Nathan Lyon,
yeah.
so they struggle.
Yeah, but
Not
still,
Nathan
I
Lyon. They
mean,
will have Adam Zampa.
Adam Zampa. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We won't be able to play Adam Zampa.
in
We won't be
Chennai.
able to play Glenn Maxwell.
I agree. I agree. I mean, how can we struggle against spin if we are playing at the conditions from childhood? That's really bizarre to know that. I guess it's against the selector's problem. They don't select players who play spin.
Okay, so you have touched upon selector. So let's move to that second development I was talking about. It is being said that Ajit Agarkar might take the role of chief selector of the Indian cricket team. So how do you see this? Because I really don't know how much power a chief selector has in Indian cricket at this point in time. I won't name, but you know whom I'm talking about. He runs the cricket in India at the moment. So
Yeah.
I'll ask
I
Pragun
mean,
first.
yeah.
So to be honest, I'll be very real. Very real. I don't know much about Ajit Agarkar. How is he? How is he a person, or how much he can do? The
Yeah.
thing I have a very big problem is the salary of a chief selector.
Hmm.
The salary of chief selector. It is reported that Ajit Agarkar would get 1 crore, and it is also reported that it is an increase of in salary. So I don't know what
Increase.
was Chetan Sharma getting if it is an increase and then also it is only 1 crore. Because if the players who are earning 15 crores in 3 months playing IPL, I don't think they will be too happy getting getting kicked out of the team by a guy who is earning 1 crore. Or the other thing is, if you are Ajit Agarkar and you are getting paid 1 crore for a year,
Hmm.
which you can earn by a commentary gig at IPL, will you be willing to make decisions that will harm you even after you leave the job? Will you be willing to make a decision which would have you face trolls and abuses on social media?
I mean, we still blame MSK Prasad for that right to decision. So I mean,
uh,
I agree with Prabhu's point of view that how can a guy who is earning 1 crore can have a decision making on the guys who are earning 15 crores, and knowing the fact that he could earn easily by doing advertisements and pan their ads.
Okay, but I think that fact regarding 1 crore, I think it's a bit under clouds. I think 1 crore was the salary that used to be at the earlier times. Now I think it might be 2 crores. And second thing, that even your top player, according to the BCCI contracts, he gets 7 crores. So in a way, 1 crore is not that less if you compare the BCCI model. And third thing, I would say that you said that he can earn more money by doing commentary and all that. But the point is, he also knows it, right? If he's coming into this thing, being a selector and taking harsh calls, maybe that is the reason why he's coming. I mean, if you look at the good side, maybe that is the thing that motivated him. Okay, yeah,
so you
Mhm.
said that the salary could be 2 crores, it may be 3 crores, and you said that comparison to 7 crores, it is not very less. Agreed. But if the player was only earning 7 crores, it would have been okay. But the BCA allows the players to play IPL for 15, 16 crores.
okay, yeah,
The
that's a
selector
good
is
point.
not allowed. The selector is
Yeah,
the selector is not even at the stadium watching the IPL. I think
That's a good
Rahul
point.
Dravid was there at one of the games, but the selector is not allowed to have a commentary gig in the IPL. The
yeah.
selector is not allowed to have a be a mentor for a IPL team. So for him, it is only that 2 or 3 crores. But for the player, a player earning 7 crore from BCCI and 16 crore from IPL, and I'm not taking into account the advertisements these guys do
Yeah.
for the during the IPL only. But
Mm.
that is the bigger amount, and I don't think that I still don't think that a guy even earning 3 crores or 2 crores would be willing to make that decision. Even if it is Ajit Agarkar, who is still a well-respected
Yeah.
player in our cricketing scene.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Kanav, do you have something to say before we end this episode? I think we have talked a lot.
Yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah, like Pragun mentioned, I believe on this point, and I also don't know much about him. But I only see how he selects the player and like what will be his decision making. Like when Rahul Dravid was selected, I was very keen to know which
Hmm.
set of players he will select because he was part of under 19 World Cup, under 19 teams for a long time, and so is I'm keen to look forward. About how he will take decisions. And same goes for India in the World Cup. I mean, okay, you have 10 venues. We have 10 venues in which you got 9 venues to play, and so yeah. But I will see how they will if they will qualify. So how they will fare in the semifinals because at the end of the day, it's just that semifinal. Matt Henry bowling and Kohli getting out or Rohit Sharma getting out. So yeah.
In Mumbai or Eden Gardens?
I mean, Dharamshala is a good option,
Yeah, but
but okay.
semi-final will be in Mumbai, right? Unless it's Pakistan.
Uh,
Unless
then
it is Pakistan.
I mean, then Pakistan can bring their underrated bowlers and still get 5 wickets.
It's a bit
That's what
tacky. I
India
don't
can do.
know how they've scheduled the World Cup. Some people are saying that India's semi-final will be in Mumbai, but if Pakistan play against India in the
If
semi-final, it
Pakistan
will be
qualifies,
in.
then we are playing Eden Gardens. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, because they don't want to go at the place where they place the bomb. So yeah.
Yeah, the Pakistan team doesn't want to play in Mumbai.
that was dark. Okay, yeah. Getting back to it, but I think
But we will beat them in Kolkata, yeah.
let's hope so.
Let's hope
Yeah,
for
I was
India
saying.
Pakistan finals.
Okay, okay, that's good. Let's not get there. We don't know if we'll
Hmm.
qualify for the final or the semi-final as well. I don't want to predict anything like that. Okay. Yeah, that's it. We'll end this episode. I think we talked too much and we covered a lot. We talked about Ashes and all that controversy unnecessarily created. And we talked about West Indies, their downfall, how Netherlands and Scotland and Zimbabwe are rising. We didn't even talk about Sri Lanka that became the first team to qualify for the World Cup. We talked about India, the World Cup schedule, the selectors, how Pakistan don't want to play a semi-final in Mumbai. So on that note, we'll end this episode. I hope you liked it. See you in the next episode. Thank you.